Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. Algeria and Somalia aim to reinforce the bilateral cooperation for a higher level of development and stability in the African continent and the Arab region. Algeria firmly rejects the decision of the Zionist entity to totally occupy the Gaza Strip and denounces the massacres and the starvation suffered by the Palestinians. A detachment of the People's National Army shuts down 4 terrorists who tried to illegally cross the southeast borders in the 4th Military Region. In France, the diplomatic crisis with Algeria is on an unprecedented scale, according to some French political and media figures. Paris is losing its strategic lever with major geopolitical, economic and security repercussions. Welcome back. The Prime Minister Nader Al-Arbawi received on Sunday at the government's palace the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Abdi Salam Abdi Ali, who is in Algeria for an official visit. The Somali minister conveyed the greetings and the high consideration expressions of the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, to the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, as well as his strong will to promote the relations between the two countries for peace, security and development at the African and Arab levels. It was also the occasion for the Somali minister to inform the Prime Minister of the efforts to reinforce the process of restoration of security and stability in Somalia before evoking the current situation in the Horn of Africa region. The Somali minister was then received by the State Minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, at the headquarters of the ministry. The two ministers held extended talks with the participation of the members of the delegations of the two countries. They evoked the ways to reinforce the bilateral cooperation and the joint coordination on the regional and international issues of common interest. After the talks, 3 legal documents were signed by the two ministers for the creation of an intergovernmental commission, the establishment of a political consultation mechanism, and to encourage the cooperation in diplomats training. For the multilateral cooperation, the talks affirmed the devotion of the two parties to ensure a higher level of coordination during their current term at the UN Security Council to serve the Arab causes, particularly the Palestinian cause, and to promote the priorities of the African continent in several sectors. We'll listen to the Somali minister.
I am pleased to announce that our meeting today that we have signed 3 landmark agreements or MOUs. Those agreements will pave the way for expanded bilateral cooperation across many fields, unlocking new opportunities for mutual growth and prosperity. Furthermore, we reaffirm our commitment to strengthen diplomatic coordination and political consultation on regional and international platforms. Somalia and Algeria stand united in their pursuit of peace, stability, and shared interests within multilateral fora. As you know, our sister brother Algeria and Somalia now are in the UN Security Council. Also, we are a member of the OIC and African Union. So I believe we have a strong platform to advocate the best interests for the Arabs and the best interests for our region in Africa and the best interests for the Islamic region in OIC. And it's a great honor that me and my counterpart, my brother, are working very closely on those issues. We, as a government of Somalia, and the direction of my president, believe Algeria is a good partner for us when it comes to security, education, trade, and regional issues, which included Horn of Africa and here in the Sahara.
Algeria and Somalia inaugurated on Sunday Somalia's new embassy in Algiers during an official visit by high-ranking Somali representatives. The event brought together senior Algerian officials and the Somali delegation. This inauguration reaffirms both countries' commitment to work together regionally and internationally. As part of the fight against terrorism and multifaceted organized crime, a detachment of the military security services shot down on Saturday morning at the southeast borders in the 4th Military Region 4 terrorists armed with 4 Kalashnikovs working for terrorist groups operating from abroad. The terrorists Amrani Muad, Busba Hussam, Ghadir Bashir Ma'ammar and Bedriyu Uqba tried to illegally cross our borders to get inside the country. This operation proves once again the determination and vigilance of the PNA forces to eliminate whoever dares to violate the Algerian borders and try to endanger the security of the citizens. During an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council on the situation in the Middle East and particularly in Palestine, the permanent representative of Algeria to the United Nations denounced the nightmare of the population of Gaza. Algeria firmly condemns the decision of the Zionist occupier to displace the people of Gaza, to impose a total military control on the territory and the inhuman blockade. According to Ammar Ben Jama, those who draw maps with blood have to answer for their actions before international injustice. We'll listen to his statement.
Algeria condemns in the strongest terms the decision of the Israeli cabinet to displace the entire population of Gaza City and northern Gaza, and to impose full military control of the Gaza Strip, as if Gaza was not already under occupation, as if Gaza was not already under inhuman siege. These are war crimes, and those who draw their maps in blood must not walk in the shadow of impunity. Justice must call them by name. There must be accountability. Mr. President, after 22 months of forced displacement, 22 months of starvation, 22 months of ethnic cleansing, such an operation would not merely ruin Gaza. It will just annihilate what remains of it.
In Palestine, the Zionist entity is forcing Palestinians to risk their lives for aid, only to be met with deadly attacks, which worsens the humanitarian situation. Najah Diyar with the details.
While the occupation promotes its narrative of allowing aid into Gaza, the Palestinian hospitals are still receiving dozens of martyrs and wounded victims of deliberate starvation, who had been waiting at distribution points in the hope of securing relief amid the desperate conditions of a population besieged by air, land and sea for more than 5 months. The places announced for food distribution like Zekim are in reality death traps that have claimed the lives of our finest young people and families. This martyr, who supported 8 sons and daughters, went to a distribution point in the northern Gaza Strip and returned as a martyr, just one example among dozens who risked their lives to spare their families from dying of hunger. This man is the son of a martyr with 4 daughters and 4 sons. He heard there would be aid at the place he went to get food, but he was targeted there. And for what reason? Amid mounting tragedy, displaced Palestinians brace for an escalation as the Zionist threats to storm the city grow. Many desperate for a loaf of bread say they cannot endure another displacement. The humanitarian situation continues to deteriorate, with the city facing relentless daily air and ground bombardments. The intentions of the Zionist entity are clear. They want to exterminate the people of Gaza. After we were displaced from the east and north of Gaza to the west, we are left with one only option, heading south, where there are no camps and no strength left to walk there. Palestinians risk death to escape starvation, only to face the harsher reality that under siege, a human life is valued at no more than a sack of flour.
In France, the fallout with Algeria is making big waves. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, Ségolène Royal and the media outlet Mediapart are all sounding the alarm. They say that Paris is losing its strategic advantage and that the balance of power has shifted, with Algiers now in control. Many are talking about an aggressive French diplomacy still marked by old colonial habits, and an interior minister accused of playing with fire to serve his own political goals. Details with Anel Bahri.
In France, the diplomatic crisis with Algeria is reaching a new level, according to a post by Mediapart. This breakdown removes a strategic lever for Paris in Africa and the Mediterranean, and could be very costly for France, politically, economically, and in terms of security. Under the title France faces Algeria, the price of strategic blindness, the author criticizes a policy driven by political motives. This approach, they say, is isolating France and pushing it away from a key partner. The signal from Algeria is strong. It has just cancelled the 2013 agreement. According to Mediapart, this is not just a technical step, but a clear political message. The balance of power has shifted, and now Algiers is setting the pace, boosted by growing economy and the new diplomatic alliances. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, founder of La France Insoumise party, has spoken out on his blog. He denounces the aggressiveness of the French government towards Algiers and says that shock tactics lead nowhere. For him, the colonial era is truly over. Mélenchon accuses the French president of supporting the interior minister's provocations against Algeria. He warns that pushing France away from the Maghreb and its people is a serious mistake that will be hard to fix. His main target is Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau, whom he calls nostalgic for colonial times, a position that makes any reconciliation with Algeria impossible. Mélenchon says Algeria has been a constant but elusive goal for French leaders since 1830, with resistance continuing even after independence. For her part, Ségolène Royal delivers a strong blow. She accuses the French president of using the Algerian controversy as a diversion from internal crisis. She calls the decision to give responsibility for relations with Algeria to Bruno Retailleau disastrous and warns that it threatens the future of Franco-Algerian ties. Observers agree France is weakened, Algeria holds the advantage, and the challenge is whether Paris can move past old habits to build an equal partnership.
Amid rising prices and mounting anger, reef protesters denounce the Makhzen's domestic neglect and its complicity in the Gaza genocide. Details with Najah Tayyar.
With living conditions deteriorating, many say prayer is all that remains. Growing voices are urging the Makhzen to ensure a dignified livelihood instead of seizing land and homes to hand over to the Zionists. Prices have soared while the value of the citizen has plummeted, making normalization synonymous with dispossession and ultimately starvation. All prices have gone up and we have nothing to do about it. We keep saying tomorrow might be better, but it never happens. We're asking the authorities to solve this situation. In Al Arawi, at the heart of 8 Bouhyahia tribe near the Nadur and the occupied city of Mlila, youth have taken to the streets. Republican activists from across the reef, including the Qal'iyya, 8 Uzin and 8 Said, and 8 Bouhyahia tribes rallied in protest.
مروان مات مقتول والمخزن هو المسؤول. مروان مات مقتول والمخزن هو المسؤول.
The demonstrators accused the Makhzen of turning a blind eye to the genocide in Gaza, prioritizing normalization and complicity in the extermination of unarmed people whom all nations are supporting, and calling on the world to end the rule of a brutal occupier responsible for killing children and women.
Meanwhile, Algeria is preparing to become the rallying point of the African business. In less than a month, several entrepreneurs and decision makers will meet here to agree on partnerships. The Intra-African Trade Fair aims to serve as a lever to boost exports, attract investment and expand trade. It is also an opportunity for Algeria to position itself as a gateway between the north and the south of the continent. Details with Daniel Bahri.
On September 4th, Algiers will host the Intra-African Trade Fair, a major economic event that will put Algeria at the heart of Africa's trade. For several days, African manufacturers, exporters and investors will meet to build relationships, sign deals and create new partnership opportunities. For Algeria, the benefits are twofold. It will raise the international profile of its market and products, and it will open the door to new trade partnerships thanks to the presence of key players from across the continent.
Pour l'Algérie, de montrer ce dont l'Algérie.
It's a true showcase for Algeria, highlighting the opportunities the country has to offer. The event also serves as a platform for creating important intra-African cooperation agreements in areas such as energy, logistics, transport, new technologies and agriculture. Investors attending the fair will discover not only an attractive legal framework in Algeria, but also opportunities that can be replicated and expanded across Africa. The fair could boost non-oil exports, strengthen Algeria's industrial and agricultural sectors and attract foreign investment. But its importance goes beyond Algeria's borders. The event is part of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to reduce customs barriers, make it easier to move goods and services, and increase trade between African countries, which is still low compared to the continent's potential. For participating nations, it's a chance to diversify trade beyond raw materials and develop exchanges in manufactured goods, technology, digital services, energy and agricultural solutions.
L'Algérie est un producteur d'agroalimentaire important.
Algeria is an important producer of agri-food products like chocolate. For example, we currently import the raw material, cocoa, even though it's produced in Africa, so why not import it directly from Africa? And why not set up factories to invest in process and production within Africa itself? With the African Continental Free Trade Area in place, there are customs advantages that count and that would help reduce costs. By hosting the fair, Algeria is positioning itself as a trade and logistics hub linking North Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa and the Mediterranean. For 7 days, Algiers will be a crossroads of African ambitions, a place where the future of the continent's trade will take shape and where Algeria aims to claim its rightful place.
And with this, we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.